What is going on, Cultivate family? Hope you're all having a good week wherever it is that you're listening to this from today. Got a nice quick banger of an episode today. And as a few of you that follow me may know, I ran a group coaching program in August, which is almost finished. And I have been answering a lot of questions for the folks that are in that group as it's their last week. So I want to make sure the ones that are staying on feel well equipped to go and do this by themselves. I believe most of them are staying on in some capacity with me, which is lovely. But one of the questions that I got asked a lot from multiple people in the SummerSlam group was, how do I figure out what workout structure works best for me? And when we're talking about workout structure, I'm specifically referring to things like how many days a week and how you're breaking your workouts up and structuring them. Are you hitting your full body every time? Are you including cardio? Are you hitting separate muscle groups? So today I wanted to cover that in a nice bite-sized episode for you all, because there's no black or white answer, and I felt like you lot having something concrete to lay out all your options would be super handy, because I know I would have absolutely loved just someone to lay it out for me when I'd first started, for sure. So when we're trying to figure this out for ourselves, what's important to note is that you might try something and it just doesn't work for you, and that's cool. Don't be afraid to ditch something that isn't serving you, which we talk about a lot on this podcast. But there's three things that we want to think about, which is how often is it realistic for you to train? What are your goals to get out of your training? And do you have any particular like injuries or physical conditions that affect your ability to like work out and recover? So thinking about the first point, how often is realistic to train for you personally? When I have a new client sign up, this is one of the first things we talk about. We think about how many sessions during the week that they can actually fit in without being unrealistic, and how many they actually want to fit in as well. Because a lot of folk have big dreams, big career progressions, are pursuing all sorts of things outside of work. They enjoy their social lives. So a lot of folk want to be in and out of the gym super efficiently. It isn't necessarily a hobby. It's more functional for their long-term health. And not necessarily everyone is obsessed with it like I am, and maybe a few people that are listening are. We're all different flavors when it comes to working out. So this is the first thing we want to think about. And if you're unsure how often is realistic to train because you've maybe not been consistent or not got on a vibe with it just yet, then trial and error is going to be needed here. So we want to think about how you're fitting it around your job, your social life, any like responsibilities that you have, and how you want it to look for you. A lot of people love the idea of just smashing it out before work on the morning, doing it on their lunch, or going after work as a way to kind of de-stress and regroup from the day before you have dinner and chill out. And the best bit of advice I can give you here is, if you're not sure how realistic it is for you to train 3 times a week, start small, because you can always add more if you want to. So I've had maybe 3 people start with me in August, and most of them have either started with 1 or 2 sessions to begin with. And I've had a couple of people that have said, yep, that's good for me right now, because they maybe do a couple of other things around that, or they have busy jobs. And then maybe one of those clients has messaged me and said, I think I'm ready to actually add a second one in. I was ready to go the last couple of weeks, so let's do it. And this is the way that we start small when people come to me, and we don't necessarily go in with like 3-4 sessions a week if mentally they feel like that might be a bit overstimulating to begin with, especially if they're going in the gym for the first time. I remember the very first online coach that I had, I trained with them 3 times a week from the off, but at first it felt like a huge disruption to everything I was doing, and it felt like it was taking ages. And as I got to learn more about what I liked movement-wise and how much time things took me, that got easier, and it became more efficient over time. And then let's think about the second point. What's the goal with your training right now? Now, some of us might think we don't really have any goals with training, and that's absolutely okay. You don't have to have loads of big dreams of like going to the Olympics or like, bungee jumping off a mountain or whatever people like to do. But when we think about what goals might break down to, it could just be like making sure that you're future-proofing and taking care of your long-term health. It could be you're thinking about building strength and a good cardio engine, or maybe you have an aesthetic goal. Maybe it's good for your well-being mentally. Maybe you've got a particular competition or race or sport in mind that you want to work towards. And maybe it's a bit of everything. And it's okay to have multiple focuses and multiple goals. I certainly do. but you definitely want to think about what is important to you, because that is going to dictate the workout structure. And then the last thing I want to bring up is if you have any injuries or physical conditions that affect your ability to work out multiple days in a row, or you need extra recovery time. So this could be relating to things like chronic pain, any muscular issues, autoimmune diseases, hypermobility, any injuries. I work with a lot of folk that have different chronic pain issues, and we always find a way to work around it and bear it in mind when we think about workout structure. So I've mapped out a few examples of how you can split your sessions up during the week based on how many sessions per week you might be able to fit in. So I'm going to run through them all for you. And as always, let me know if you've got any questions. For any of my clients that are listening, if you are doing something different to this, but I mentioned something that you think, oh, that might work better for me, make sure you drop me a DM and we'll talk about it. If you never thought of this as being an option, but actually it sounds kind of cool, then let me know and we'll figure it out. So if you're a person that is going to aim to get 1 to 2 strength sessions in a week, I would pretty much recommend just doing full body sessions. It means that if you miss one, you've still done another full body. And if you ended up doing an upper body day and a lower body day and you missed one, then you're basically cutting your muscle groups in half. So anything 2 sessions or under, definitely just look to hit full body. If you are thinking about doing 3 sessions weekly, which I'd say is probably like the average for a lot of people with strength training, the options that we have here are doing 3 full bodies. And again, that means you can be a bit more flexible, because if you miss one, you know you still have another couple of full bodies. If you are hitting 3 super consistently and you don't necessarily need more flexibility in the structure of that, you could break it down into upper body, lower body, and full body, or push-pull legs, which is one of the more kind of popular bodybuilding S splits. So any of those work really well. There's no wrong answer. But again, if you need flexibility, full body every session, or upper lower full body, because then you know you're at least going to get 1 full body in, if that makes sense. Then if you're moving into that 4 to 5 sessions weekly range, there's more ways you can split things up. So if, for example, you're doing 4 sessions a week, you might do 2 upper body days and 2 lower body days, keep it nice and simple. You might even do 4 or 5 full body days if that's what you enjoy. Some people that enjoy doing some high intensity cardio and conditioning work, they might choose to do push-pull legs and a conditioning session. Or you might start to look at something like a bro split, where you actually split all the muscle groups up. So you might have a back day, a chest day, a leg day, shoulders day, arms day. And again, the problem kind of comes there. If you do miss one, that means you've just missed a muscle group. But for people that are at the gym like clockwork super consistently, it can work really, really well. And obviously you're getting a lot more volume in over those muscle groups by splitting them up that way. Then for all my people that want to do 4 or 5 sessions weekly, but they want to include cardio in that, it might be that they do 3 full body sessions, 1 conditioning session, and then 1 low intensity, steady state cardio session, like a gentle cycle or a gentle, easy run, where you're maybe doing it for a long amount of time, but you're not necessarily going all out 10 out of 10 intensity. Then finally, if you're someone that's going to be doing 5 or 6 sessions weekly, there's so many different ways that you can split this up, and there is no wrong answer at all. So if, again, you're wanting to include cardio in that, 3 full body, maybe a conditioning session in the gym, and then maybe you do a tempo run or a long run as well. It might be that if you are solely doing strength training, you do push-pull legs twice and have 1 rest day. It might be if you're a runner, you strength train 3 times and you run 2 or 3 times. And if you more enjoy that hybrid style of training, it might be you do 3 full body or push-pull legs, then you do a conditioning session and 2 runs, taking you up to that 6th session. So what I hope this short episode has explained is that there is no right answer for how you structure your workouts. Everyone trains differently. If I use myself as an example, I do 3 full body strength sessions. I do 1 high intensity conditioning session that's about an hour. I do 1 steady state long cycle. That's more of a low heart rate, steady state endurance session. And then I do 3 short runs. And to a lot of people, that won't make any sense. But for what I'm training for the injuries that I'm rehabbing, and for what my goals are, it makes perfect sense. And this is why having your programming and your workouts designed for you personally can be so beneficial, because it means it's all tailored around your lifestyle and your goals, which is often why following set plans that you find online or set programs doesn't always feel like they're optimal or that they suit you very well. And you maybe then end up thinking, oh, well, maybe this gym thing isn't for me because I've tried all these plans and they're not working. And the chances are you maybe just need something that's just solely tailored to you and your lifestyle, especially if you don't necessarily connect with what a lot of the program's outcomes are or goals are. And as we all know, there's a lot of people on the internet telling you what you should do when really there's no wrong or right answer here. So for anyone listening to this podcast that still is just like, well, I'm no wiser, I don't really know, I kind of need someone to help me figure this out. If you're struggling to decide on how to split up workouts and do want some help, there is 2 ways that I can help you. So the first one, I have a low-cost Trans Masc program called Superhuman. So Superhuman focuses more on building out a really strong, functional upper body and hitting our legs super efficiently. So even if you're not Trans Masc, you can do that program if it aligns with your training goals and you feel like you want to build your upper body out a little bit more while still making sure that you can continue to build strength in your legs, but that's not necessarily the main focus. And then if you are really feeling like you need some personalized support and you would love to have your own programming done for you that's solely tailored for you, when I come back from my week off, I will have the capacity to take 3 more one-to-one Focon for coaching towards the middle to end of September. So if you're looking for that more custom approach and one-to-one support that fits in with your lifestyle, I would love to help you find that. So if that is your flavor, fill in the show notes and you can join my waiting list and I'll be in touch as soon as I have slots available and we can figure out if it will be a good fit for you. So that is workout structures. No wrong or right answer, loads of different options, and hopefully that kind of clears up a few different ways you can choose to split things up instead of all the blokes on TikTok that just say you should do push-pull legs twice every week. Have an amazing rest of your week, Cultivate family. I have another little bite-sized episode for you next week because I am away. And any questions, as always, slide into the DMs. Take it easy, Cultivate family. That is me out. See you later.